Good morning, Hayom Yom, Aleph Sivan, the 45th day of the Eimer, and Rish Chodesh. So the Rebbe begins by telling us that for the first 12 days of the month of Sivan, we don't say Tachnun in our prayers. And the reason for this is given by the Alter Rebbe between the Siddur and the Shulchan Aruch. And he explains that the first day of Sivan is Rosh Chodesh, so that's why we don't say Tachnun then. And then between Beis Sivan and Hey Sivan, so back in the desert, Moses was preparing the Jews to receive the Torah, was preparing the Jews for Shavuos. And because of that, these days are a very, very special time, since it's a preparation and a build-up and it leads to Shavuos, to the giving of the Torah, and therefore we don't say Tachnun then during those days. Then Vav Sivan and Zayin Sivan are obviously the holiday of Shavuos, the time that us Jews receive the Torah, so that we don't say Tachnun then. And then additionally, the energy of Shavuos, the energy of Vav Sivan, actually stretches out for and extends for 7 days, all the way till Yud Beis Sivan, like many Jewish holidays which are 7 days long. And this even expresses itself in Jewish law that back in the day when we brought sacrifices, you were meant to bring a sacrifice on Shavuos. But if you failed to bring the sacrifice on Shavuos, you had 7 days to bring the sacrifice. You were able to bring it all the way to Yud Beis Sivan throughout the 7 days that the energy of Shavuos stretched out to. Then the Rebbe shares with us a very interesting saying of the Chazal of our sages. Our sages say that if you take a stick off the ground and you throw it up into the air, it will fall down and hit the ground on its root side, on the side that is closer to its root. And the simple reason is because the side of a branch that is closer to its roots is usually going to be thicker. And because of that, the stick will always hit the ground, it will always land on the thicker side, on the heavier side. But Chazal say there's actually something very symbolic about this. And this symbolizes that people are drawn to their roots. People automatically revert to, people's default mode is to resemble their roots. And it actually gives 2 examples for this. One example is from Abraham's second wife, Hagar, who was actually an Egyptian woman. And her famous son, Yishmael, so when he got married, he married a woman from Egypt. He married an Egyptian girl. And it says the reason for this is because his mother was Egyptian, so he went back to his roots and he took an Egyptian wife. And the second example it gives is it says that Yosef, was one of the most handsome men to ever live. And again, this was him resembling his roots because his mother, Rachel, was one of the most beautiful, one of the most gorgeous women to ever live. So Yosef was also very beautiful, very handsome. But the Rebbe says that very, very similar to this saying of Chazal, the Chabad Rebbeim blessed and gave a gift and an inheritance to the earliest Chassidim, to their first followers, to the first Chassidim of Chabad. And the gift they gave them, the inheritance they gave them to pass on to their children, was a limitless inheritance. Because some inheritances, to claim them, you need to meet certain conditions. Certain conditions need to be met. But this inheritance, all the descendants, all the children, us, the descendants of the earlier Chassidim, are able to cash in or able to claim, regardless of who we are, regardless of what we are, regardless of where we are. There are no conditions at any time, at any place. Anybody who's a descendant of these people who has a rightful claim to the will is able to claim this inheritance. And the inheritance is that we will have within us deeply rooted roots, which means that we will have a core identity. At our core, at our deepest roots, we will be Chassidim. We will be a Chassid. And because of that, deep down, we will always be pulled to, we will always be drawn back to our roots. We will always have this pull and this draw to be a Chassid, to be Chassid-like, to be a follower of the Rebbe. And basically the reason is because our earlier ancestors, our grandparents, the earliest Chassidim, worked very hard at becoming real, genuine, deep people, real, genuine, deep Chassidim. And once that progress was achieved, once that was accomplished, that can never be undone. That progress can never be undone. And therefore, no matter how we live our lives, no matter what we do, no matter how we choose to live our lives externally and superficially, no matter the things we involve our lives in, no matter what we pursue, no matter what silly things we pursue, no matter what dirt we basically get involved in, we can never wash away who we truly are. We can never really wash away the values and the personality and the vision that our grandparents have embedded in us. And deep down, at our core, at our essence, who we really are deep down, we are Chassidim. And at any moment, we could just claim our inheritance. We could tap into who we really are and become the chassid we really are deep down, the chassid we were always meant to be. And just sometimes we cover that up with a lot of layers. And that becomes concealed, and we become desensitized to who we really are. We become alienated from ourselves. But who we really are deep down never changes. Our core never changes. And the Rebbe concludes that whoever is interested in life, whoever wants to live life to the fullest, whoever wants to live a life worth living, whoever wants to feel like themselves, because the greatest feeling in life is to feel like oneself, to be comfortable in your own skin, to feel like yourself, to just be yourself. He said, the way to tap into yourself, the way to tap into your inner chassid is to do two things. First of all, is to study Chassidus, which in general allows a person to really connect with and tap into who they really are. And secondly, to live by the standards of the Chassidic community. Because Chassidus is a certain kind of life, a certain kind of lifestyle, and therefore Chassidim have certain standards, and the community runs a certain way. And you have to join a Chassidic community, or live by the standards of the Chassidic community, and live like a Chassid, and then that's how you bring out your inner Chassid. And that is the Hayom Yom. And the Rebbe once talked about this Hayom Yom years later, and he said that although this was originally stated with regards to the first Chassidim and their descendants, which is not all Jews, nowadays this applies to every single Jew. Every single Jew now has this inheritance and they can claim it. Every single Jew deep down is really a chassid of the Rebbe. And he said the Rebbe is looking out for every Jew, and the Rebbe is looking for every Jew to help every Jew and to lift up every Jew, because every single Jew, even if you fall on the ground, even if you're lying in the dirt, in the mud, the Rebbe wants to pick you up and throw you up, uplift you, throw you up into the air, and help you reconnect to your roots, to your root side, to your deep inner roots, to your real self, who you really are. And you just need you just need to give the Rebbe a pinky, just try a little bit, participate a little bit, want it to happen, and the Rebbe will look out for you, the Rebbe will help you, the Rebbe will save you. And yeah, so God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.